Hello everyone, welcome to MVP Vishwakosha. Today we are discussing 30 September 2025 current affairs. In that first point, that is about recent inclusion of the cold desert, okay, that is Trans-Himalayas cold desert region to the India in UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserves. Okay, so in this that is during the 5th World Congress of Biosphere Reserves in Hangzhou, China. So UNESCO added 26 new biosphere reserves globally to its network. So among these, the Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve in Himachal Pradesh, India was included in the World Network of Biosphere Reserves, making it India's 13th UNESCO biosphere site. So this is India's first high altitude cold desert ecosystem to get UNESCO biosphere recognition, and also the cold desert site spans 7,770 square kilometer at altitudes between about 3,300 and 6,600 meter. Okay, and also it covers areas such as Pin Valley National Park, Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary, Sarchu, Chandratal, plus adjoining parts of Lahore division. Okay, so the zonation of reserve that is three zones, right? That is a core zone, buffer zone, transition zone. In that core zone consists of 2,665 square kilometer, buffer zone 3,977 square kilometer, and transition zone 1,128 square kilometers. Okay, so in this very important that biodiversity and ecological representation, climate change and resilience, and sustainable development and community involvement, and international prestige and diplomacy, and gap filling in protected area network, and some of the challenges in that. Okay, so that is about important point, that is about recent cold desert become India's 13th UNESCO biosphere reserve. Exam point of view, it is very important. Okay, and India now has 13 biosphere reserves in the UNESCO's network. This is the first cold desert, high altitude cold desert biosphere reserve. Okay. Next news, that is about typhoon, that is tropical storm Buloy. Okay, that is Philippines, Vietnam region. So that is a tropical storm named Buloy, locally in the Philippines also called Opong. Okay, struck in the central Philippines. Okay, in September 2025, causing death, displacement, flooding, and infrastructure damage. It made landfall in eastern Samar province with the sustained winds of almost 110 km per hour, causing flood, landslides, down trees, damage to power lines and homes. And also, at least 10 people died in Philippines, and more than 433,000 people were evacuated ahead of the storm. And also, the storm then moved toward Vietnam, and where it caused damage, fatalities. Okay, and also in Vietnam, almost 347,000 households lost power, airport shut up in affected province. And okay, so very important that name. Okay, so Buloy in this international name. Okay, in the region of Philippines. Okay, tropical storm, also typhoon. Okay, that is very important, that climate change and the increasing intensity of cyclones, storms, vulnerability and disaster management. Okay, and also transboundary region impact on cooperation, and socio-economic and infrastructure impact, and policy or governance challenges. Okay, very important. Okay, so that is about recent news. Okay, of typhoon Buloy. Next news, that is about recent designation of two wetlands in Bihar as Ramsar sites. Two wetlands in Bihar, that is Gokul Jalasay in Buxar district, and Udaipur Lake, the Western Champaran district, have been newly designated as Ramsar site. Okay, so the wetland of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. With this new addition, India's total number of Ramsar sites rise to 93 Ramsar sites. Okay, example point of view, these two important sites. Okay, there is one is Gokul Jalshay and and second one is Udaipur Jeel or Udaipur Lake. Okay, so Udaipur Jeel is a part of Udaipur Wildlife Sanctuary in Western Champaran, the wetland. Okay, very important. And also the announcement came along with the India's other environmental recognition, and also very important that wetlands named that is Gokul Jalshay and Udaipur Jeel. Okay, in this perspective, that wetland conservation and biodiversity significance, that wetlands are among the most productive ecosystem and provide habitat for a variety of plants and animal species, right? Also ecosystem service and climate resilience, and also linking to local livelihoods and sustainability and policy and governance legal strength and India's global environmental role and commitment. Okay, and also that is very important that recent that international designations and that Ramsar UNESCO sites in strengthening India's wetland conservation in the Bihar's perspective. It is very important. Okay, so that is about recent news, that is two wetland named Gokul Jalshe and Udaipur Jil added to the India's Ramsar list. Okay, now total 93 wetland. Okay, next news, that is about Rani Rashmoni's birth anniversary. Okay, so that is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to Rani Rashmoni on her birth anniversary, calling her a towering figure of courage, compassion, and conviction. And the tribute noted her roles as a philanthropist, social reformer, institution builder, and defender of local interest against British policies. Okay. So her birth 28 September to 1793, and the other biographical detail are often cited in summaries of her life. Okay, very important. That is full name, that is Rashomi Das, popularly honored as Rani Rashomi or Lokamata. Okay, so birthplace, born in village of Kona. Okay, that is Bengal Presidency, from a Maheshia peasant family with the modest root. Okay, and also role. That is major contribution, built Dakshineshwar Kali temple and appointed Sri Ramakrishna Paramamsa as a priest despite caste opposition. Constructed ghats, okay, and also initiated roads, reservoirs, infrastructures for pilgrims and local communities, and also supported social reforms, opposed polygamy and child marriage, backed widow remarriage. She even said to have submitted draft bill against polygamy to the British, okay, and also that is she is respected as a Lokamata, okay, mother of the people in Bengal. Her actions in temple building, philanthropy, and resistance have made her a figure of in Bengal socio-cultural memory. Also, Rani Rashmi Green University in West Bengal, named in her honor, is one of institutional memory. Okay, very important woman in 19th century in India, and female leadership in colonial times, social reform, also resistant to colonial and also cultural and religious millennium and memory of identity and regional history. It is very important. Okay, so that is about recent birth anniversary of Rani Rashmoni. Next news, that is about swachhsheharjodimohua initiative launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So the government of India launched swachhsheharjodimohua under Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. This mentorship city pairing initiative, where well-performing mentor cities are paired with low-performing mentee cities to share best practice, handhold them in urban sanitation and waste management. The pairing is based on their Swachh Sarvekshan rankings, and also the initial launch, 72 mentor cities have been paired with about 200 mentee cities. Okay, each mentor mentee pair will work under 100 program to co-develop action plans with the measurable milestone for improvements in sanitation and solid waste management. The performance and outcomes will be measured, validated in Swachh Sarvekshan 2026 rankings. Some key focus areas in the initiative include visible cleanliness, upkeep of public space, waste segregation and transport, scientific processing of waste, access to sanitation infrastructure, mechanized desludging, use water management, citizen engagement, advocacy, grievance redressal. Okay, some of example that is Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara, Gandhinagar selected as mentor cities for towns in Gujarat. Okay, and also will mentor Alandi in Maharashtra under swachhsheharjodimohua, and the Surat Municipal Corporation will mentor municipality in Bhavanagar zone, Gujarat. Okay, it's thematic area. Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation will mentor 5 towns in Maharashtra under the Clean City Pairs. Very good initiative, or okay, peer learning to, and South to South City Corporation, and also scaling up to proven models instead of reinvesting, and time-bound target-oriented approach. Okay, and also strengthen that is urban phase continuity, and also governance, institutional capacity building, and better citizen outcome. Okay, and health environment. Okay, so that is about recent Swachhata Jodi. Okay, clean city pairing. Next news, that is about recent statement by Union Home Minister on Naxalism. So at the valedictory session of the seminar, Bharat Mantapam 2025, Nakshal Mukt Bharat, Ending Red Terror under Modi's leadership in New Delhi, Home Minister Amit Shah made several pointed remarks on left-wing extremism, that is Naxalism. That key element in is that is rejection of ceasefire, no talks unless arms are laid out. He said the government will not agree to ceasefire with the CPI Maoist insurgent want to surrender. They can do with, but there is no need to have a ceasefire. And also he emphasized lay down your arms, not a single bullet will be fired. Also red carpet welcome and attractive rehabilitation on surrender. And also he told targeted date for eradicated Naxalism, March 31st, 2026, important date. And focus beyond just military operation, ideology backing must be addressed. And also praise for security operations, reference on Operation Black Forest, Operation Kagar and all that operations are very important. Then the exam they will ask which are they will name that operations and that operation related to what, and they will ask. Also other reference claims he paid respect to victim of left-wing violence since 1960s. Okay, very important. That is shift to reinforcement of policy stance and also framing Naxalism as an ideological problem, not just a security challenge. Okay, and also internal security and federal coordination and implication of human rights governance and counter-insurgency ethics. Okay, so that is about recent statement by Amit Shah, Home Minister. Rejected the ceasefire offer and eradicate Naxalism by 31st March 2026. Next news, that is about a recent inauguration of SODAR facility at IMD Delhi. Okay, here SODAR means Sound Detection and Ranging System Facility, designed, developed CSIR AMPRI, Advanced Materials and Process Research Institution, Bhopal, inaugurated at the India Meteorological Department, Delhi. The inauguration was done by Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary of Ministry of Earth Science, along with Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra, okay, DG Meteorology IMD, and Dr. Talada Bhaskar, Director of CSIR AMPRI. And alongside MOU was signed between CSIR AMPRI and IMD to facilitate data sharing, collaborative research in atomic atmospheric science, climate variability, forecasting, and disaster risk reduction. And also the facility is intended to strengthen India's capability in atmospheric monitoring and support better weather forecasting by adding more vertical profile data. Okay, and also this part of a plan to roll out SODAR in its more location across India. Okay, SODAR very important. That is sound detection and ranging. It's a remote sensing instrument that uses sound waves to probe a lower atmospheric boundary layer. Okay, and also it emits acoustic pulses upward. When these sound waves hit temperature gradients, right, turbulence, wind shear, or inhomogeneities in the air, they get back scattered. The system analyzes this back scatter signal in after vertical profiles of wind speed, direction, turbulence, mixing height. In simple terms, SODAR gives a vertical picture of how wind, turbulence, temperature change with height in the lowest few hundred meters, about 1 kilometer. Okay, depending on the design. It complements other meteorological instruments, surface anemometers, radars, satellite data to improve the vertical resolution of observation. Okay, important that enhancing forecasting, disaster preparedness, strengthening indigenous capability, reducing dependence, climate research, environmental and air quality, capacity building and institutional collaboration, and policy and developmental relevance are very important. Okay, so that is about SODAR and its inauguration facility at IMD Delhi. Next news, there is about recent release of first radar images by NISAR. NISAR means NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar. Okay, so that is about in that the NISAR satellite, a joint mission of NASA and ISRO, has sent back its first images Earth surface. The preliminary L-band synthetic aperture radar images showing details such as forest, wetland, urban areas, farmland, different land cover types, and also the image include views of main USA coast and North Dakota farmland features. Okay, and also the mission is set to enter into full science operation November 2025. Okay, aiming consistent data delivery. NISAR was launched in 30 July 2025 about GSLV F-16 from India. Okay, NISAR means there is NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar, a joint Earth observation satellite mission. It is carries a dual radar bands, L band, and also provided by NASA, and S band provided by ISRO. Synthetic aperture radar system. The mission is designed to scan Earth's land and ice surface, repeatedly to track changes including deformation, vegetation health, ice sheet movement, soil moisture, etc. Also orbit, sun synchronous orbit around 7 kilometer altitude, and also planned life operation approximately 5 years. Okay, very important significance that advanced earth observation capability, monitoring changes, detecting all that subtle shift, and also climate and ecosystem studies and support for agriculture, water, land use planning, and strengthening indigenous collaborative technology. Okay, so that is about recent image, that is by Nisar first radar image. Next news, that is about recent India vs Pakistan match, that is Asia Cup final. India won the match. So the match was 2025 Asia Cup final, men's T20 between Pakistan versus India. Okay, that held on the 20th September 2025 at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, UAE. Okay, and also that India won by 5 wickets, chasing a target of 147. That Pakistan scored 146 with India finishing at 150 for 5 in 19.5 overs. Okay, and Tilak Verma was the man of the match, scoring an unbeaten 69 under pressure, which was central to chase. Pakistan's innings, they started well, okay, losing 9 wickets for just 33 at one stage. Okay, bowling highlights, Kuldeep Yadav took 4 wickets, and this was India's 9th Asia Cup title. Okay, and also the final had some extra drama and controversies and all. Okay, so India refused to accept the trophy or their medals. Okay, so all that is sports or soft diplomacy and public diplomacy and narrative and symbolism and national identity, ethics and governance and institution, media perception, nationalism, polarization, all that perspective are very important. And exam perspective, all that Asia Cup 2025 final, okay, between India and Pakistan, and India won by 5 wickets, scoring 150 for 5. Next news, that's about recent appointment, that is Mithunmanasbccinewpresident being elected as new BCCI president. So at the 94th annual meeting, general meeting, the board of control of for cricket in India, Mithunmanas was elected unopposed as the 37th president of the BCCI, succeeding Roger Binney, who stepped down upon attaining the age limit. Other office bearers were also confirmed. Raju Shukla remains vice president. Devajit Saikia continues secretary. The new treasurer is Raghuram Bhatt, and also that is Manas is a former first-class cricketer, mainly for Delhi and Jammu Kashmir, with a distinguished domestic record, but never represented to India at international level. This election is significant in several respects, including is among the recent BCCI president who were former cricketer. Okay, Manas is also a first person born in Jammu Kashmir from that region to head the BCCI. Okay, very important that Mithun Manas, 37th president of BCCI. Okay, so that is very important, that trend of former player in cricket administration, regional and representation balance, and governance administration, and also cricket roles in India's socio-cultural sphere. Okay, also linkage with the politics, power structure, all that perspective. That is recent BCCI appointment of Mithun Manas as a new BCCI president. That is about 30 September 2025 current affairs. Thank you. Support me for further videos so that I can analyze all the topics required for UPSC and all competitive exam. Thank you.